Hey, welcome to another episode of Three Conservative Gimps, where you get your conservative stuff right here with at least two conservative gimps. Hopefully, Mike will come back and join us down the road. We miss Mike. He's always a lot of fun, and he's a great contributor to this show. So, what we're going to cover today is the latest banking failures and how that is affecting the economy. And also, we're going to be talking about, I think it's a big nothing burger, but Lloyd and I will talk about it. What we need. The pending arrest of Donald Trump Tuesday. So we're going to talk about that, and a few other things have popped up, and well, let's get this show going. So let's welcome my co-host, the hostess with the mostest. He's the effervescent friend of mine from Muskogee, Oklahoma. Let's welcome Lloyd Mendenhall.
Hey, everyone. How y'all doing? How you doing, Art?
I'm doing pretty good. Pretty good.
Yeah.
This channel is starting to take off. We're at
Yep.
261 subscribers. So
My channel's actually started growing. It stagnated there for so long, and it dropped all the way down to 720 at one point, and then came back up and started slowly, and then it hung somewhere between 732 to 742, back and forth, back and forth. It finally broke, 740, and then it finally held strong at 742, jumped up to 745 the other day, and is now 746. So I mean, I'm getting 3 and 4 new subscribers a week now. I'm starting to, at least 2 a week that are solid, that are staying there. And
I think your shorts is what's helping.
yeah, Gus, I think, is pretty popular. He seems to know more so than old Joe. So I've started working. I'm going to work on more shorts with Mike's is a negative 100. Yeah, I know. I was beginning. That's what happened with mine for so long. It's like I began to think I was going backwards. Yeah, well, I was, but yeah, I'm glad this channel is growing. We are starting the political season. It starts. Here in the next couple of months, it really starts hammering.
Mm-hmm.
Up until the first primary, which is I don't know, January. They used to be February, but I think they're kind of jumping at they've was Iowa has theirs. I think theirs is first, at least with the Republicans, but I think the Democrat primary in Iowa has been pushed back a little bit. So, there's been some contention there. So,
okay.
But yeah,
Interesting.
it's so I think things political are starting to, and let's be honest, the country has gone to hell in a handbasket here lately, and I think people are looking for a different point of view, something that's not Fox, something that's not CNN or MSNBC or PMS NBC or CNBC, none of those. They're looking for, and these smaller independent, political. Ours is a political talk show. But they're looking at it and saying, "Hey, we're just average guys, so we're able to bring the average guy's point of view to the people,
Right.
So
Right. And yeah, we give a different view. I mean, we even have a different view than some of the other channels out there. Some are more, farther to the right. Some are to the left. I think we're,
we're sort of
probably a little bit to the right of center.
I would call us moderate conservatives.
Right.
We're not hardcore conservatives. We're not the liberal conservative. We're sort of the moderate.
Yeah,
we're the
we're
average
not rhinos.
Joe,
We are.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And that makes a difference. But yeah, I'm glad the channel is growing, and I'm noticing a different mix of people. I caught a little. By the way, for anybody who didn't catch it, BMAC Ariels had his live show this week, Friday, I think, and Mitch, old guy in a drone, was on there.
Oh, awesome!
Looking good. Good.
Good.
And like he said, it's a different. They were talking about it. I think on Justin's channel, a little bit different crowd than what was or Brian was talking about, because I caught it. I didn't catch it live. I went back and watched the replay because I had heard that Mitch was on. So,
ooh, I'll have to check it out.
He said nobody's been sending him invites.
Well, that's because I've tried and he never shows up. I just gave up. I guess, we all figured that he was done with it. So I'll send him some link.
He has quit YouTube more or less. but he's doing a little bit. He's not really even flying. He's actually into this red meat keto diet
Oh,
that he's
yeah.
and he's actually thinking about maybe starting that on his channel. Different way to go.
Interesting.
Because he said he goes to
Interesting.
look at some of this new stuff when it comes to, he used to be the professor of beta flight, or of drones, and he
Right.
says his stuff is so outdated. He says things have changed so much in the last year and a half that he doesn't recognize it now.
Yeah.
So, anyways,
Well,
thought I'd pass that news along that Mitch is, and he was looking good. He looked real good.
Oh, that's wonderful.
He said after he had that brain surgery. Oh, what's that?
It's Filipino money.
Filipino money.
1,000 pesos. And this is 500 pesos. And I have 100 pesos. I think they have some smaller bills, which I'll probably be picking up when I get down there, when I get change back.
Yeah.
But so I had to, get some walking around money. So I went on the currency exchange, and they have a local branch here in Colorado, but they didn't carry enough of the bills I wanted. So I did it all online, and it had to be FedEx to me. So I had to stay home and sign in, and I got my little packet of money.
Right.
So I'm all set there. Just finished, pretty much finished up my itinerary. Got all the airline tickets taken care of. Sent my girlfriend some money so she'd get her ticket. And so now I just need to start getting hotels all lined up.
Yeah. Excellent. So, Lee is in the chat. Yellow Rose Drones, glad to.
Yeah. Hey, Lee, good to see you. And Chris Wedgeworth, Mike B, and Uncle Bill, and Mickey
Mr. B, and Mr. B's misadventures.
Yep, Mr. B. Yep.
Oh, that's good. Speaking of exchanging all that money, what about this bank collapse?
Yes, that's right. That would be the SVB, which is Silicon Valley Bank, and it went toes up. Yeah,
and there was 4 others that were, I think there's a total of 6 over the week, or over the that some of them were they quit trading, is what they had to stop trading because their shares. One of them, it was like Silicon Valley Bank. They lost 80% the first day, and then they lost 60% of that the second day. So that's when and then their bank run. Then the people started. There's a run on the bank, and that's when the Fed stepped in, shut her down, said. And I heard that the parent company, and I can't remember who they are now. Sorry about that. I forgot to check that out, but they have filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection.
Wow.
So, one of the things was that they'd invested it. There was a couple things that were caused this. Is one, they had invested heavily in government bonds, and when the interest rates started going up, the bonds became worth less than what they paid for them, and suddenly their shares were, and they've got assets, but they're still, somebody's going to have to take them over, and they're trying to get that lined out within the next 2 or 3 weeks to see, who can come along and pick up who can afford to buy their assets and their debts, Plus, one of the other things, of course, their whole thing started when they started pushing, they were trying to help build the economy through entrepreneur type thing, and they were pushing techs and stuff like that, Silicon Valley, and there were a lot of startup companies that they were helping out. They weren't all, it's sort of like the tech bubble back in 99, it hit them.
Yep.
And
Mm-hmm.
one of the other contributing factors was cryptocurrency,
Oh.
because they were heavily invested in that as well, and that took a hit,
Well,
And
actually, the currencies that I've got, I'm actually doing pretty well right now.
right, yeah, but
Bitcoin is rising. It's at
right.
28K right now.
Well, I suspect that they were involved with that company that went belly up. So,
Oh.
I heard a little bit of it. I'll say it. I say it to you all the time. We're only an EMP away from all cryptocurrency being obsolete.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Good EMP will take out all the cryptocurrency. Not that the Russians hadn't already thought of that, or the Chinese. So.
Well,
yeah.
Elon Musk is really big on it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He's there again. Just takes a good hacking system or good. You think about a lot of that stuff's coming out of China. We go to, that's where a lot of it is being mined from.
Yes.
And,
Well, isn't the government cracking down on mining there?
they might be now, but still, there's a
Yeah,
lot. There's still a lot of, cryptocurrency has been around a while, but it's still not a long term. It's. I mean, if it's, let's put it this way: don't put your retirement fund into cryptocurrency.
Yeah.
That's that's if you got an extra $100 to play around with, extra 200-300, that you don't mind losing. Okay, that's good.
Right.
But don't be basing that on your
Yes.
retirement fund.
Don't put all your eggs in one basket, so to speak.
Yeah. And so yeah, it's that bank, Silicon Valley Bank. Of course, it's in California. It's the Silicon Valley people. They're the economy is not helping them. But really, when it came down to it, it was their investments and their heavy investments into government bonds, and which are great when there's zero interest rate. But there's been zero interest rate for years now, and all of a sudden, President Joe gets in there and the economy goes to shit, and the inflation starts rising, so they have to start raising interest rates in order to curtail inflation, and government bonds are now worthless. Well, they're not worthless, but they're worth, they may have paid, let's say they paid $200 for each bond. Well, with the inflation rate, oh, Lambo Drive, ciao for now. That's my line. Oh, okay. He was talking about because that's what Bill said.
Yeah.
Uncle Bill said he had to go. So, welcome to the show. But
welcome,
it was
Brett.
The government bonds. Right now they're kind of upside down on their government bonds. They paid, let's say $300 a bond, and now they're worth about $150 a bond. So,
and also the bank failures had a big impact on Wall Street because this whole week it's been down.
Yeah, well, and that's they stopped trading on, like I said, on 4 banks that on Monday. That Joe is one smart sumbitch. Yeah, right.
Yep.
Yeah. Maybe he is, because him being a far left, bleeding heart communist liberal. Maybe that's what he's trying to do: destroy the country.
Yep.
That's been their goal all along.
That if you had read what is it, Cloward Piven, that's the goal of the liberal. Is to collapse the economy so they could come in and say, well, you're going to need us to fix things,
Yeah.
Then they get all the levers of power, and then,
I saw something the other day. and it was one of those memes. But it was talking about on this day in 18 something or another, early 1900, late 1800, I can't remember now. Says,
the thing.
yeah, the thing. Yeah, Karl Marx gave his greatest contribution to humanity. He died.
Yes, that's right.
That was the best thing he ever did for humanity, was dying. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's where this all stems from,
Mm-hmm.
But
so, so interest rates are probably going to go up again to slow down the inflation, and that's not going to help Biden. And so now I'm
yeah,
kind of revising my thoughts about Jared Polis running. I mean, uh, Joe could dump Kamala and pick either Polis or Gavin Newsom as
Newsom,
his
yeah.
VP, but
Yeah.
they're probably thinking, I don't know if this guy. They might even primary him, which is a good possibility
Yeah.
that'll happen.
Yeah, but I think I really, I think Polis would probably wait until after 28. I think he'll probably wait until 28, because here's the thing. If Donald Trump doesn't pick a decent, strong, hello, Charles. If he doesn't bring in a strong VP, if Trump
Right.
doesn't bring in a strong VP, a younger, strong VP, not some old, not some old white guy, 70-year-old white guy. We don't need another one of those. It's time for us to
Another
start
Cheney?
turning. Yeah, exactly. Another Dick Cheney. We don't need something like that. And,
Mm-hmm.
I think his best bet would be either, what's her name? We've talked about it. We talk about her every week.
Oh, you mean Haley or Nikki Haley?
Nikki Haley or Halle Berry would be good too. Is what
Halle Berry,
that's
yeah.
where. Yeah. But anyways, but no, Nikki Haley or Governor DeSantis,
Yeah.
or
Mm-hmm.
Governor of Texas,
Oh, Abbott.
Abbott. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and any now Abbott, he picks up. He's got a few boxes you can check. He represent the handicap. Got that
Right.
one.
Mm-hmm.
And he's pretty damn good at. He's been pretty good at what he does.
Mm-hmm.
I think he should have closed the borders between New Mexico and Texas, and that would have stopped all those Californians from being able to come in. So,
Yeah.
you know,
Yep.
not old Mexico. Notice I meant New Mexico. I meant New Mexico, and that's what I meant.
Mm-hmm.
Because New Mexico, right? Because they're pretty, they got a lot of liberals there, and most of them have
Yep.
come from California. So if he built the wall right there between Texas and New Mexico, that would solve a lot of Texas problems.
Mm-hmm.
He needs to build a big wall across the south and across the west. And I think he'd be okay. Coming in from the east, we got Oklahoma and a few places like that, and so we got they got the Gulf, they got what is it, Louisiana,
Yep.
there. So those southern, the southern states are okay. Kerry Lake would, Chris, Kerry Lake would be a pretty good choice too.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully, everybody has gotten past the rigged election. Okay, we all know it was, but let's do something different. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like it. You don't have to like it, but we need to play the game differently. So I think that's where we'll probably would help. But yeah, I think if Trump picks a decent running mate, not only does he stand a chance of winning, but he sets us up so that in 28 we've got a pretty good candidate, built-in candidate, the vice president, to take, and we could pull this off, or we could have a good 12-year run,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And also, if we could strengthen our hold in the House and also
Yeah.
expand, get take control of the Senate, and it'll be like Trump's first term in the first couple years, where he was able to get things done, and the economy was going like gangbusters up
Right.
until the pandemic happened, and
Right. Right.
that's the one
And
thing that killed his
yeah.
reelection chance.
And I think
And
yeah, go ahead.
he just came off like he really didn't care, you know.
And I don't think it was. I mean, that's the way it came across. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
but I think he was like most of us that have looked at it now. It's like we don't. It's one of those things. What would it have been like if we'd have just let it go?
Right. Yeah, I think it would have been just like the regular run of the
Regular
mill
flu.
flu,
And
and
by pushing these shots,
right, pushing the shots and
you're right,
pushing
Mister
all
B.
the elderly,
Yeah,
the COVID people into retirement homes and killing off. That was a dumb move.
yeah, yeah,
That was
yeah.
done by Democrats in blue states.
Yes, it was.
Mm-hmm.
But I think uh, yeah, I think pushing the shots actually caused the. Yeah, I mentioned that last week. I think that
Mm-hmm.
if
Yes,
either
you
one
did.
of them wins, we're stuck with a lame duck president. The difference is we have to look at first off, do we want Trump to finish what he started?
Mm-hmm.
And maybe undo some of the damage quicker, or because let's face it. I mean, right now his popularity is just the newest polls are still showing him beating, still running at the top of the list. They don't show him beating Biden, but I think after Tuesday we're going to start. We may, depending on what happens Tuesday, we may see some real change in the direction of the polls because
Yep.
if
I don't
they
think
do,
he's going to be arrested. I think
I
it's
I
all
think
political, and I think it's going to blow back on those idiots in New
well,
York.
and I think I'm thinking that's why he announced that. Hey, uh, you know, don't I'm going to be arrested Tuesday. Just give everybody the heads up so that hey, if they were considering it, I
Mm-hmm.
bet anything if because just because they recommended indictment doesn't mean they have to do it. The district
Mm-hmm.
attorney can shoot because everybody else has said no. We don't want anything to do with this. And this was even if he did do it was a misdemeanor. It was
Yeah.
this
Mm-hmm.
bleeding heart liberal source back knobhead that decided to kick it up into a felony. And
Yeah. Yeah, because he wanted to get that picture of Trump doing the perp walk. You
yeah,
know.
yeah. And the Secret Service has pretty much said that ain't going to happen because their
Yep.
job until he's stripped of his presidential rights, and that would only be if a felony conviction, and even then they may not. He still do the. He's a former president. And Secret Service has made it clear that they call the shots,
Mm-hmm.
and the local police have said, we're not getting into a fight with the Secret Service. So yeah, they
Yep.
call the shots, and they've said that So at best, they've also already. I've already read that the local police have said that they will not be releasing his mugshot.
Mm-hmm.
And them handcuffing him, I don't think
Yeah. You know what? I think what's going to
it's not
happen is this
necessary.
is going to backfire on him, and
Yeah,
and I think Trump was brilliant to do this because if it blows back on him, all of those other charges are probably going to go away
yeah.
because
I think he wanted to let everybody know what was going on and give the Democrat and the knothead, the district attorney, the chance to back off.
Yep.
Let's see what the people think. And they've already, even the left is starting to say, if you arrest Trump like that, yeah, ex-presidents are not allowed to drive a car. All their mail is inspected, etc.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. And we've never had an ex-president stripped of his power.
Mm-hmm.
And there's been a few of them that probably should have been stripped of their privileges, through the years. They just, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't think, and it is just wrong for the country. All of the stuff that came out about John Kennedy and Marilyn Monroe and sneaking her in through the back door, and this is all that they could come up with, that a former porn star said that I had an affair with Donald Trump, and Donald Trump isn't the one.
Money and yep.
Well, so this guy paid the money to not embarrass the president or his wife,
Mm-hmm.
And Trump probably said afterwards, well, I appreciate that. I didn't ask you to do that, but, let me make it right by you and pay you, out of my personal money, and I'll pay, and there's nothing technically wrong with that.
Mm-hmm.
But, it would be a misdemeanor. Did he pay for it out of campaign money? That's the problem.
Mm.
If he paid for it out of campaign money, that's different.
Uh-huh. That's true.
But I may have to step away for a minute because I see. I'm not sure if Judy's calling me or not. I may have to step. Let me go check on her, and you can go on. You can carry on for a few minutes with this, and I'll be right back.
I'll bounce you out. Alrighty, we got technical difficulties. Please stand by. Lloyd will be back with us in a minute. So we got the bank failures. We got this whole charade about Trump being arrested, and a whole bunch of crazy stuff happening this week. I think this is all going to backfire, and this will strengthen Trump down the road, where he could pull away from the other candidates that are running or considering running. Now, I'm here in Colorado. It really doesn't mean a whole lot because he's not going to get the electoral votes of the Colorado. I mean, just not popular here in Colorado. Colorado is a blue state, just like, California, New York, Oregon, and Washington and Illinois. So those of you that live in those blue states, whether you like him or you don't like him, and what does a lame duck term mean? That means a president is, what I'll do is I will look up lame duck. Lame duck, okay. I will look up the definition. Okay, lame duck, an official office holder or group continuing in office during the period between failure to win an election and the inauguration of a successor. An office holder, and this number 2, an office holder who has chosen not to run for re-election or is ineligible for re-election. Or number 3, an ineffective person, a weakling. Also, another definition in politics: a lame duck or outgoing politician is an elected official whose successor has already been elected or soon will be. An outgoing politician is often seen as having less influence with other politicians due to their limited time left in office. So that answers your question, Chris. So that's what's going on. Oh, so that's interesting. Oh, and that was the other thing I was gonna bring up is January 6th and how that's turning out to be all BS in that. So let's bring back Lloyd and we could talk about that. That was another thing I was going to talk about. The January 6th. I think that's going to be a nothing burger pretty soon here.
Yeah, I think it's about run his course. I think, uh, because I think what's going to happen. I think it's going to play out more in the courts than anything else, because I think what we're going to see is the QAnon shaman file appeals, and or a judge is going to look at that and say, "Yeah, we're going to set that. We're either going to set it up as a retrial, or we're going to set that,
overturn it and
overturn the conviction, because even though he
and
pled,
expunge that conviction, or
well, it depends on they may overturn it, or and decide should it go for retrial, and then that will be up to the attorney general, DOJ, decide if they're going to pursue it, and they may not pursue it.
Yep. Yep. And the people, the public will realize that this was all a sham.
Well, he's got a new lawyer. The lawyer he had, I think, was really working for the DOJ, because they convinced him to take the plea, do the time, and that's the best you're going to get. Otherwise you could spend 20 years in Leavenworth or some crap like that. And he did not serve the guy. He didn't serve the guy's best interest. The lawyer should have said, "Hey, we cannot go to trial until we've got every single tape that we can go through as well." And he didn't do that. His lawyer sucked.
Yep.
And the lawyers got now, and unfortunately, he said it's going to be hard to. It's going to take somebody in the right place that's going to have to put in the word, whisper in the judge's ear, say, "You need to reevaluate this with what you're seeing now," and because it was a definite miscarriage of justice. And I think anything related to Donald Trump and January 6th, because now it's coming out that he was, the QAnon guy himself was saying that it's right there on the tape. President Trump is telling everybody to quit and go home. He was not promoting that. He was doing everything but that. And everything that Nancy Pelosi and Shifty Shift and all those other idiots were trying to say, it's
it was all a ploy to prevent Trump from running for
office again.
They're really scared of him because he's an outsider, not a politician. Came in, nobody thought he was going to beat Hillary. I mean, even me, I didn't think he was going to beat Hillary. And then
I didn't either. I was real surprised when he did. I was very happy, but and Mickey McGates, you're right. That was part of the deal, is he loses his right to appeal. But this may be viewed upon as such a miscarriage of justice that he was offered this deal before they were given all of the evidence. Because all of this is exculpatory evidence that should have been given to the his attorney from the beginning. It's just and the thing with exculpatory evidence is, even if it might be exculpatory later on, if you think it could possibly be, you got to turn it over to him. You can't and
you can't withhold evidence that might
it might help them. You can't withhold it just because it might help them. And as I heard Rudy Giuliani talking about this with the gal that one of that has been going. They had seen some of this stuff after the fact, and then they got to see what Tucker saw, and they said, it's. I think she's might be one of Trump's attorneys, and
right.
but yeah, I mean,
was that
forgot what her name
Lynn
is now.
Ellis or something?
Yeah, I think somebody like that. Yeah, she's a dark-haired gal, and she was on. I saw her on Huckabee with Rudy Giuliani, and they talked about that, and they said, unfortunately, the guy, he lost his right to appeal, but this is such an egregious injustice that they anything they can do to help, they were trying to. Somebody is going to somewhere find a way that even though he lost his right to appeal, that this will be overturned.
Mm-hmm.
And
also, I wanted to ask you if Tucker Carlson has made any more announcements ongoing about the January 6th tape.
Not that I've seen. I saw those first 2 nights, and he seems to have moved on. He got his, he might be building, and sometimes he has another show that he does, and it's on Fox Nation, and you have to watch it. And it may be more in depth on Fox Nation, but I haven't seen anything new this week. So, considering how many hours and hours of tapes there are, he may be building, and he might be doing what a lot of people do. He's got that, and he's going to write a new book based on all of the evidence that he saw.
Right.
And then he'll promote the book by releasing more evidence,
Mm-hmm.
So,
interesting.
Yeah. But, I mean, I like I said, I haven't seen anything new from, all I saw was what, the other day I saw Rudy on Huckabee, and it was interesting. I watched it. I don't always, I like Huckabee only because sometimes he has some really good entertainers on there. I like watching it,
Yep. He had Rich Little on, a year or two ago?
He's had him on he's been on a couple of times. Yeah.
And I think, hasn't Jeff Dunham been on there? No, he's been on the Fox and Friends.
He's been on Fox and Friends. I don't think he's been on Huckabee. Terry Fader has been on Huckabee.
Oh, yes.
Along with a couple of the other ventriloquists that I'm familiar with.
Right. And also Jeff Dunham's been on Gutfeld.
Yes, he was on Gutfeld. That was fun. Yeah. But now it's Terry Fader of the two, because Terry Fader and Jeff Dunham kind of, they're although Jeff Dunham's been at it a lot longer and he's more comedic. I think he's just a better ventriloquist. I mean,
yes,
he don't.
I
he
think
doesn't.
so too. He's been doing it for almost 40 years, man.
40 years, yeah. And the thing with Terry Fader that he's very good at, and something that Jeff Dunham can't do is he's a great impressionist, vocal impressionist. When it comes to singing, and he can, he does. Terry Fader does so many spot on vocal impressions through his puppets. I mean, the guy. The guy's a ventriloquist. Okay, that's okay. That's hard enough to do. Then he sings, and he's a great singer without moving his lips.
Wow!
And he impersonates. He does impersonations. He does. Oh my God, he does 100 different people now.
Awesome.
And his he does Willie Nelson. He's got a Willie Nelson puppet, and he does.
And Terry Fader, he went through America's Got Talent. That's
America's
how he
Got Talent, and that's how he got on there.
Jeff Dunham, I think he did Star Search way back in the day.
Way back. Yeah. But Jeff Dunham the thing is Jeff Dunham's been doing this since he was a kid.
Yep.
Terry Fator didn't start ventriloquism until later.
Right.
He was a vocal impersonator he did vocal impersonations long before he ever started ventriloquism. Finally, somebody said, "Well, do you still do?" And he was doing ventriloquism, but just playing with it. Says, "Have you thought about mixing your ventriloquism with your impersonations?" And that's what finally started him going down that road. But
Hey,
yeah,
Rob.
no, he didn't start doing he didn't start doing ventriloquism until later, till he was
I see.
an adult or thereabouts. And so,
Mhm.
but he had been doing the corporate circuit, for years as an
Mhm.
impressionist, and he's good. He can do Sonny and Cher, and he can do he does Mick Jagger. He does who's the other old prunus with the Mick Jagger?
Oh, yeah. Keith Richards?
Keith Richards, yeah. He does Etta James. He does
Wow.
he does as many good female, and he is good. And he does all that without moving his lips,
Mm-hmm.
which I can say is really hard to do.
Without moving his lips? Like that?
Without moving his lips and trying to make it so that people can actually understand what the hell you're saying.
Yeah, what
That's the hard part.
Without,
Yeah. And without looking like you're trying to shit a prune seed.
Yeah, and don't do it like that.
Yeah. But, you
gotta look natural when you do it.
You do. And with me, I mean, I found, because that's what it is. They tell you when you're doing this to relax and get into your most natural, just,
Yes.
mouth
That's
slightly
correct.
open, just, and I watched like, what's her name? Hell, Darcy Lynn.
Yes, that's the gal I was thinking about.
Who is from Oklahoma, by the way.
Oh.
Yes, she is an Okie, and she does it like this all the time, and it just drives me at the friggin' wall.
It really does.
Yeah.
Yeah,
she smiles all the time, and it's like, God, if I smile that much, maybe it's because I'm a grumpy old fart, but if I smile that much, it hurts my face.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, my mother used to say, it takes more muscles to frown than it does to smile. Bull crap. I can frown very easily, but this is my natural look. So it's like, okay, so I can talk
That's
like
my
this.
impersonation of Walter.
Yeah. Well,
who gives a crap?
My eyes are starting to droop and get close, and I'm starting to look like Walter. Although, as you say, I do the Stan look now. I've got the Stan thing. The Stan thing. And by the end of the month, I'll have all my teeth, and I can smile like he does too.
Good.
But but that's the thing with ventriloquism, is you just relax your face, and to me, it's the grumpy look, Chris. You're right. That's it. It's just like,
yeah, that's
okay.
Correct,
And I can talk like this all day long, and it's not a real toddling, except some letters are a little harder than others. Yep. The P's and the B's I still stumble over, especially since I lost that tooth. But
I watched that video, a biography of Jeff Dunham, and
that
when he went back to his boyhood home.
Yeah.
And where he's in the bathroom and he's practicing in front of the mirror, and I thought, and he's good.
He is good, and he really has. He's put in the time. He's really there are other ventriloquists out there that are. I can't say that there are any that are technically better than he is. That's the thing. His technique is just spot on. I started way too late in life. I mean, I played around with it when I was a kid, but I never pursued it, and I let it go. And I was in my 60s when I started doing this, and it's like, okay. I don't practice like I should, but he probably came home, did his homework, and then went in there and practiced for 2 hours a day, every day.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
My practice is to come in here and sit in front, and I've got the advantage. I don't have to have a mirror. I can sit here in my office, a quiet. Judy's laying down resting. I can come in here. Me and the dummies can have a conversation all day long, and I can see I do. I record about 5 minutes every day, and I go back and see what do I need to work on.
There you go.
And I'm hoping the mustache will get down to about here, so you can't see my lips move at all. Just real big, thick, bushy mustache, and then I can do it, and nobody can tell the difference.
And speaking of mustaches and beards, how about that video of that homeless guy that stole Ken Heron's camera? When I saw that, my first thought was, Mel?
Yeah, I know. I thought that looks a little bit like Mel.
I mean,
but
he does live in Tennessee, not far from Ken.
Yeah, but right now he's in Fort Smith, so he's come out here to Fort Smith. But yeah, I know it's but maybe it was his. But that guy lives in town, so it lives in an abandoned house, so they know who he is. So it's not Mel or Kent. So, but he did. I thought the same time. Surely he would have recognized Mel, because they've done they've met, they've done things together, and
yep, that's right. He's been the
that's right, Rob, homeless Santa Claus.
Yep.
The homeless Santa Claus. That was a good description of him too.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, just stole my just stole my security camera. He's the homeless Santa Claus. He looks like homeless Santa Claus. Oh yeah, we know who he is.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Bless his heart. What got me was Ken Heron may have missed and maybe he didn't care, but there was something about that, don't press charges. He's a poor homeless guy. Okay, he's homeless. He's got mental issues. But did you hear the other part of why they know him?
No, I
probably everybody went right over it.
He's
registered sex offender.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. Reverse gifting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was a registered sex offender. It's like.
Yeah, that's right. I remember that. Yep.
Yeah, but they went out. Unless you were really paying attention to what that sheriff was saying, or that police officer, the police chief, or whoever he was saying, because it's all about poor homeless guy, he's off his meds, and he's also a registered sex offender. But did he become a sex offender by not taking any meds, or was he a sex offender and then went off the deep end when he went to prison? Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're right. He was a sex offender. So,
any other things in the political realm or the economy or the market? Oh, and another thing about Trump, if he wins re-election, he could undo. You were talking about undoing what Biden did. He could finish the Keystone XL pipeline. You have that finished, and also finish the border wall.
The border wall, and he said it. I heard him in an interview the other day. He said he wished he had built more of the wall before he left office. He should have really put a lot more into it, and this wouldn't have been a problem. And built it in a lot more places. Here's the other thing I do have something.
Okay.
The NCAA Wrestling Championships games were going on in Tulsa, Oklahoma, at the BOKs here, Bank of Oklahoma Civic Center. It's a big complex, and it was the national championships for the NCAA wrestlers. And we're not talking WWE, we're talking actual guys that wrestle.
Mm-hmm.
Mark Wayne Mullen, who is from Muskogee, he he was attending it. He's our senator one of our senators from Oklahoma. He was our congressional representative. Now he's a senator. He took over for Jim Inhofe. Or he won the seat.
Yeah.
And he invited President Trump to come watch the NCAA championships.
Oh, wonderful.
And President Trump came. He was here yesterday evening from 5. He flew in at 5:30 and left about 9:30 last night.
Wow, that's awesome. And also here in Denver, we've got some of the Sweet 16 going on here in Denver.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
Well,
it looks like Creighton is the big underdog and just knocking off.
They've really come out
teams.
of. You're right. They knocked off first seeded team. The first night. I mean, it's just like they just really have been jumping out there. Yeah, and we've OSU has been doing pretty good as far as the wrestling, the championship wrestling, NCAA championship there, and you got to remember OSU, all them people, they like to get, they're all from it's Oklahoma State University. They like to get out there and wrestle pigs. They're used to, pulling down cattle. What's throwing a guy around? They're used to throwing hay bales and doing stuff like that. So they come from these other states, and there's a lot of wimps. So we have a chance to win. Yeah, President Trump. And you know what I was going to do last night, and I didn't do it. I was going to open up and check my air data to see if there was a no fly zone.
Ooh,
how far out it went, because Tulsa's. I'm not sure how far out they usually go when the president's in town, but he flew in on Trump Force One and
Trump Force One.
Yep, and he
TFO.
Yeah, TFO, right. And he was here visiting Tulsa, Oklahoma. First time he'd been here since the 2020 campaign. So
wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Our senator just invited him, and who knew? I think it was just a shot in the dark, because he's the junior senator from Oklahoma, from the from this newest class of 22, and it was like Trump figured. I guess he figured, what the hell. And believe it or not, you had Senator Mullen, then you had Trump, then you had the governor of Oklahoma, and then I'm not sure if that was the first lady of Oklahoma or if that was the first former first lady herself, because I didn't look at it real closely. It looked like it looked like his wife, but I'm thinking, why wouldn't his wife sit next to him? But he had the governor sitting next to him, and I realized, I've heard my governor speak. I've heard him talk. I've heard his news conferences. I listened to him on the radio. But that was the first time that I ever saw him, and he looks a little bit like the Pillsbury Doughboy. That's the first time I saw what my governor looks like. That's sad. I voted for him, but it's just a box, I've listened to him on the radio. I listened to Fox News on my satellite radio. So when they talk about the governor, I had no clue what he actually looked like, because I don't watch regular television. And so when I looked at him, who's the fat boy next to him, man? It looks like a Pillsbury Doughboy. And then I started reading underneath, Governor Stitt of Oklahoma. The Pillsbury Doughboy is our governor. That's it, a good fat white guy. That's what I want for governor. He represents me completely, and he's got the same hair color I do,
There you go.
Anyway.
Well, Lloyd, since you've got a haircut, you're looking pretty sharp, dude. Now, if you shave now and then, you probably look...
I walked in there to take care of Judy. She says, "You forgot to shave." Yeah, I did. I combed my hair.
You got tomorrow's show to kind of clean it up.
I will be shaved tomorrow. I'll be clean shaven for my show, because she'll probably nail my ass.
Trim that stash. You got a couple areas. It looks like you got fangs hanging down.
Well, the problem is I got dark spots in here and then real white spots in here.
Yeah.
So it's just the way it grows. But yeah, I trim it I trim it every time I shave. But it grows fast.
Okay. TFR is around only it's smaller than 28 nautical miles. Sitting president.
Okay. All right. So, yeah. Thank you.
Awesome.
I hadn't looked to see, what it was.
Mm-hmm.
Chris Wedgeworth forgot to shave for the last 10 years. And that's the first time, Friday night was the first time I got to actually see what Chris Wedgeworth looked like. He was on Northeast Drone Productions. He popped in at the end.
Oh
Yeah.
boy. Yeah.
Yeah. I had
popped
got
in, probably an hour or so in the show to say hi and
Yeah. Well, I got on
popped
for a
out.
little. I got on for a little bit, and then I got off. And when I got off, so did Dennis Lovelady. He said, "I can leave now. I don't have to balance Lloyd out. So I now that Lloyd's leaving, I can leave too. It keeps the
Oh.
show balance, But
There you go. And all right, we did a little over an hour. I want to thank everybody in the chat for coming. Please do share the show with your like-minded friends. Let's get this, keep growing. It's up to 261. It's like,
Wow.
man, we went from 206 to we got over 50 new subscribers, which is awesome. And they didn't disappear the next day, which is cool.
That's always good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, everybody, thank you, Chris and Mickey and Mike and Rob and all the rest. We'll catch you all next week, and have a great week, and God bless, and see you later. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, everybody.